Hello and welcome, dear Gnostic Takeover friends and family. You really are my family. I've got a family. However, I have a much greater family. We're all across the world somewhere, and it just so happens that after 2 years, it's reaching 2 years when I started my YouTube channel, that we've got an amazing community space. And I just want to thank everyone for participating in that, because it's such a healing to finally have a space with people that you can trust and share with. And yeah, even if it's not in your everyday life present, me, for example, the only people I hang out with are Liz and Errol at this time. Okay, so we don't have this massive support system of people, not yet anyway, in our immediate surroundings. That's why I think sharing the space together and keeping it clean is very, very important. And yeah, a lot has happened also on the platform. I've got a big topic to cover today, which is all about decoding the collective field. We're going to be talking about Owetiko, and we're going to be talking about reality and reality hacks. It's going to be pretty awesome, very interesting. And I just wanted to say that there is a lot of interesting stuff going on in the community, and it just so happens that there's a revealing taking place, which is good. There's a collective purging going on Earth right now, purging evil, purging poison that we don't need anymore, in order to transform to the authentic beings that we are meant to be. That's why, yeah, I'm going to continue doing meditations also, to save them up for a day where you really need them, when I'm not doing one, because that's really powerful. It's coming back to the self and really anchoring in that authentic being. And in that time of purging, a lot is coming to the surface, and I'm having to ban even people that have, like today, have done major videos for the Gnostic Takeover. And I looked back on the 28th of February when trespass by way of kidnapping happened with the property of Liz, Leonie. And it was, one could see that there is something going on there. It's not normal human behavior, I shall say. So I looked at the comments from Cindy, and I looked at the comments from Jaws, and it's off. Now, you see, this is always the thing. After some time, you begin to realize, oh yeah, they were off. Yeah, I had a strange feeling. Yeah, and the key is to act accordingly to that feeling. Because just as an introduction here, there was a heavy attack going on at night from yesterday to today, and out of nowhere, so we got the cats from yesterday to our place, to our space, because they were staying in the home that we've had since January. The cat's been staying, and yeah, they need to be fed, and we're everywhere and we're nowhere. We're unpredictable. Therefore, we got the cats, and straight away, the first night was a nightmare with them. So the cat pissed in the bed. Very nice. It doesn't normally do that. And also interference with my dreams. Trespass by way of sexual arousement. I'm going to be totally honest with this, because that's all you're going to get here. Okay? The Gnostic Takeover is honesty. And when we kick someone off, when we block someone, we do this because of our protection. We have to defect the threat, eliminate the threat, which goes by way of slaying. It's the slay. The slay is healing. Yeah. And that seals and protects the entire environment. And I'm expecting to sleep a lot better today. And we're going through some major, major times right now. It's unbelievable. It's pretty amazing. And this, when you go by the 4 main principles of Gnosticism that me and Errol did a great video on, it's on the Gnostic Takeover channel that's reactivated again. So this video is going to be uploaded there again also. And as we know, it is the first is the detection. To detect, this is where sensory perception comes in. Not just what you can see, smell, taste, and touch, but the sensory perception. This is what, when you read the book from John Lamb Lash, Not in His Image, is he goes into the Celtic tradition and how the tradition of the Celts, who were also Gnostics, they were seen as very sensual beings, with an emphasis on sensuality and kindness. Yeah, mankind. Where did that end up? Being sensory, feeling for people, and not just transgress boundaries at every opportunity like the world has become. Where's that all gone? So sensory, activating sensory perception and our sensory senses, feeling for situation. When you go into a room and you feel, oh, the energy is off, and then you start the decoding. So first is the detection, having your sensory faculties activated. As an example, you go into a room and you feel the energies are off, or you go into a room and you're like, wow, what an energy. Or you go into nature and you're like, wow, what an energy. You see, and the way you can strengthen that is to have your focus on it, because you have it natural anyway. That's why you see in animals, for example, when there's an earthquake that's going to happen in hours afterwards, the animals already leave the area because they can already can feel with their senses that an earthquake is going to happen. So we have that inside of us too, and there is a big factor playing into that we have got this sensory perception deactivated, that it slumbers most of the time. And that's for the reason of deprivation, one can call it, and I'm also always taking notes. That's for the reason of technology. And all of the frequencies and the airwaves that are all around us the whole time, that are interacting with the signal of our receiver-transmitter system, our body-mind. Where's our perception tuned into? Where's our consciousness tuned into? Where do you get your decodings, your perceptions from? Is it from an organic, natural field of consciousness, or is it from an artificial field of consciousness? How would you know the difference? And that's what we need to talk about. What is reality? And how do we anchor ourselves in natural reality instead of artificial reality? This is why I always keep talking about the fact that if we simplify everything, which is what I like to do. Yeah, things can be complicated. We can make things more complicated, but the basics have to be right. If you do not have the basics right, you're going to make major, all the mistakes, most of the mistakes, the most profound mistakes happen because of a wrong basis, because of wrong assumptions, because of a wrong sort of set of principles. That's why principles are the most important. We need to get the basics right. And that's why I keep saying that we live in two realities simultaneously, depending on where you are tuning in your receiver transmitter system, your mind, your body mind, because your mind is connected to your body, where you're tuning that into what reality broadcast. Because you've got the 5G signal going on everywhere. The 5G signal is tied in with all electromagnetic frequency, which is a spectrum of the matrix. Microwave radiation is the matrix. It's alien to this planet. This is actually also shown in scientific studies, that this frequency is artificially created and post-modulated artificial electromagnetic field, which the most important use for this spectrum of microwave frequencies, microwave radiation, is most used for mind control purposes. And hardly anyone has spoken about the use of 5G, for example, for mind control purposes. I remember when I did presentations on 5G, touring all across Austria. I even toured through Europe, did a European tour. Well, I wasn't allowed to speak because it was Claire Edwards speaking, you know. Of course, no, I mean, who am I? She's the studied one. I mean, why should I have anything to say? But I was talking on these terms. I was like, guys, look at the mind control with 5G. Look at all the people when they're running around with their smartphone. Do you think that's normal behavior? Or is that more of a behavior of a hive mind? Behavior of hive mind. The smartphone. So you already had that before 5G. People running around like headless chickens, robots, downloading, tuning into, and becoming through learned behavior of habit creation. The human being is a habitual being. We're enslaved by our habits. That's the truth. If you want to change the world, change your habits. Look at the habits that you've had most of your life that are the most difficult to get rid of. And then you know how you can change things. That's how it goes. However, when people start engaging in this, and first it's just, oh, everyone has a smartphone. Oh, no problem. So I'll have one too, because everyone has one. And then I can message with my friends, and it all starts all innocent, doesn't it? Oh, Kevin just wants to exchange messages with Melinda, and oh, you're a bad man for pointing out that the smartphone is used for mind control. So it starts all innocent, and little Kevin, who's just turned 9 years old, just wants to. That's the new thing. No, that's how the door is open for the devil to walk in. And this is everything that has happened from the eagle thunder bird vision of looking into this reality, into the bubble, and you're like, this was all happening 10 years before the crisis of 2020 kicked off. How do I know that so well? Why am I focusing attention to the smartphone generation coming in, and through habit creation and the human being a habitual being, that, and our habit create our reality. The human being creates habits and identifies himself through his habits. That then creates a normal of machine consciousness. Machine consciousness. And let me say it again. Machine consciousness. While I think no one was paying attention, that's when you know that's the biggest agenda. To the thing that no one's paying attention to. Yeah. And at that time, you had all the distraction going on in the truth and alternative media about the wars, the theater wars, as they were called in the document by the neocons at the beginning of the 21st century. The multi-theater wars of the US empire. That's where everyone was being distracted. And then, what was everyone distracted with at the time? Let's think back. Can we even think back so far? All of the wars, the Iraq war, the weapons of mass destruction that were never found, the wars in Syria, in Libya, in Palestine, and how this whole control structure is set up, the financial system and all that. And it was sort of like foggy, what's really going on here? And when it really, what was going on underneath the surface was the systematic change and transformation of human consciousness, of the consciousness of mankind into machine consciousness with the phones. The cell phone, that really is here to replace your cells. The cell towers that carry the carrier wave of these artificial electromagnetic frequencies. Those cell towers are there too, and this bloody bot can fuck right off. Just gonna delete him. Of course, always pay attention to detail. Always pay attention to detail. When do things happen? When something important is going on. The cell towers are meant to replace the trees, because they're also communicating electromagnetically, electrochemically, electromagnetically through the wood wide web. It's pure science. It's all been shown. It's all connected. Nature is one connected holistic field, and you can bet your everything that the enemies of life also know that. And they wish to copy that natural field of consciousness and how it is organized and how it communicates. They want to copy that. Okay? That's the artificial. That's where we go into the artificial construct of the matrix. And it's really important that we talk about this, because in times where the 5G network is active together with all of the other microwave radiations that, as I point out here, when all of the people were focusing on the health effects of this and the satellite situation and this and that, the social crediting system that was going to come online and all that, I was focusing on mind control. That's where what these frequencies are being used for. Mind control. That's why. Forget about waking any one of the zombies up. They're tuned in to that network that has been built over quite a long time. So you had the 1G network in the 80s, 2G, 1992, what I can remember from my presentations. 1992, the 2G was put in place. And people were starting to be able to message each other. Okay, it's really important to point these things out. We forget these things. Like, how the fuck did all of these things even start? No one knows. Yeah, it just happened when, let's think back about it. And then all of a sudden you've got cell phones, everyone. Everyone's got cell phones. I think the 3G was beginning of the 2000s, 2002, 2003, something like that. The 4G, the next step along that trajectory, well, no one's paying attention to that. And it's all a conspiracy theory that they might be harmful. Although we've got, when it comes to the health effects, we've got stacks of studies are just being ignored. Of course, they're just being ignored because you have to realize the end goal of all of this. Why is all the science being ignored? There is a reason for it. And the reason for it is because they want to create an artificial matrix to plug people into. That's why. Everything else in between is a means to an end. They don't care. It's a means to an end and they have to go for it because it's the enemies of life. They are machine consciousness and they've infiltrated human society to a degree that most people are unaware of. And what we have been distracted from is that it really is. Two movies I want to mention here. I say it often. It's important to talk about this. Avatar. The infiltration there. How a guy from the supposed US military was able to infiltrate into the Na'vi society of Avatar because he looked like them. However, different consciousness. And the second movie, They Live. You put on the glasses and you're like, they're not human. Yes. Bingo. Now we're getting somewhere. We need to get on top of things like this in order to suss out and know what the situation is here on Earth. How can we be able to get on top of this situation if we don't know what the situation even is? We've got machine beings running around. And it's those beings that I'm kicking off the Gnostic Takeover group here because like a light drawing in all the flies and all the flies flying around, the Gnostic Takeover is attracting lots of black magicians and witches. Of course. Because when you know Operation Looking Glass, they know the future. And they know that I'm not full of shit when I'm saying that we're taking the planet back. In actual fact, it's the most sane thing anyone could ever say. In a situation like we're in right now, the illuminating idea, and an idea is what changes everything. It's the most important thing, the most simplest thing we can ever come up with is to realize that it's an idea that has always transformed all of reality. One idea. That's what the whole Gnostic Takeover, operation, dedication, and execution of the plan is all here to do. Taking the planet back. That's what it is all about. Knowing you've got machine consciousness beings running around that do not belong onto this planet, who are always transgressing boundaries, who do not learn when you tell them, and when they do not learn, you have to slay them. Coming back to the 4 principles of Gnosticism. That's why I come back to this again. Detection, the sensory activation. Your perception needs to be tuned, that your senses need to be active, and you're like, oh, don't have a good feeling. Yeah, keep training that, because we need this now. Detect, decode, start decoding. Then defect. It's like cutting through a cable. When I see a hack, and I'll explain all of this, when I see a hack outside of me, I close my eyes and I install a frame where I cut a cable. That's what I do. It works 100% every time. Defect. Eliminate the threat. Because the threat is always a hack. So when you eliminate stage 3 from detect, decode, defect, seal and protect, then the situation is sealed and protected, and you can move on, taking down a pedo-satanic criminal network without any troubles. That's why I'm sharing this. I'm sharing the most important intel that I have with you, because you are my family. Because we need to share this information, not charging any money for it, because we are the charge. When I need money, I know my family takes care of me, or mankind takes care of me. The source, the one and only source, takes care of me. But this information, everyone has to have access to. That's what we need to be talking about. Not the, they're doing this, they're doing that. No, let's decode reality. That's what we're talking about. The threat is always a hack. It's a principle. So we've been under quite some threats, haven't we? Let's go through them. Threats to our species that have caused multiple theater wars throughout the world to mankind. Threats like 9/11 that have caused the multi-theater wars in the Middle East. What else can we think of? Those wars then culminated in an inevitable. Oh, you've got to be a real genius to find that one out. Oh, wars then cause refugee crises. Oh, wow. Genius. Yeah. That was 2015 here in Europe. So then you've got the refugees in front of your doorstep. And then you're a conspiracy theorist for pointing out it's because you've been bombing the shit out of these countries. Oh, refugees welcome. Oh, yeah, let's not go to the cause of the problem, shall we? No. Because war is normal to you, isn't it? Because most of these machine consciousness beings who have assimilated lots of mankind into machine consciousness also, by ways of assimilation. One of the major tools they use is the smartphone that gives off signals to entrain your mind, to entrain your brain. Yeah, that's how they do it. And to them, yeah, but you can't change that. There's always going to be wars. And don't tell me that ISIS is funded by the USA and NATO, although they admitted in their own emails. No one wants to know about that. So 9/11, okay, the multi-theater wars, and then the subsequent refugee crisis. Then after that, we're talking 2015. After that, you have the slow implementation, 2018, 2017, 2018. It was slowly coming to the foreground, especially 2019. But it kicked off here in Austria. I remember the newspaper articles in 2018 of the 5G networks being rolled out. And these are all these threads, they link together, where people would be like, you've got 9/11 here, and then okay, I can see the wars that culminated in, but how does that relate to 5G? Well, give me some time. I'm building my argument. And the beginning of 2020, when the scam kicked off, okay, and the virus theme was inserted into what? Inserted into reality? Or inserted into the hack of reality? And the hack of reality being a copy of reality, a simulation of reality. And the key question that everyone needs to ask themselves is, how would you know the difference? I'm building a big case for this one here. This is really, can you see? That's what we should be asking ourselves. So that's true intelligence. That's real intelligence. How do I know I'm in natural reality or in artificial reality? How would I know the difference of those two? And if I would have answers to how I can unhack myself from the artificial reality and only be in the natural reality, where I'm only under the parameters of the natural order and not jackasses like Klaus Schwab and other fucking idiots wanting to tell me on my planet that I need to wear maske pite. I think it's very fucking important, don't you think, to know that? Maybe that's the whole point of evolution and life, to get to a point where no idiot can ever tell you again what to do. And that is then called freedom. That's why I'm asking these questions. reality? Because Gnosticism is all about discernment. Look again. Question deeper. Especially question the reality you are experiencing. So, natural and artificial reality. Natural frequencies of the Schumann resonance, artificial frequencies on the EMF spectrum of microwave frequencies, microwave radiation, also called radio frequency radiation. That's how far back the introduction of artificial electromagnetic fields goes. The introduction of radio. We're talking at the time of the First World War. Yeah. Have we got a connection here between world wars, world global conflicts, and the introduction of artificial fields? Artificial frequency fields. I think we do. So, I'm gonna start quoting a man now to really introduce the theme further that I've just put forward about what they really are doing, what's really important to them right now, and how to stop the enslavement of our species. Wouldn't it be great to have that answer? Or at least an idea. That's what I'm not saying I've got all the answers to everything. Got a lot of the answers. I know the basic dynamics, which is why they hate me, which is why they send me witch after witch, black magician after black magician. Because they hate me. That's why my dreams get hacked. And again, transgression of boundaries happen by way of sexual arousement. Sick. And the way I punish them is I share this information with everyone. Crucial information. To end the enslavement of our species, mankind, on our planet, and be free. Where these machine consciousness beings have to ask us if they're allowed to stay. Yeah, that's the position I want to be maneuvering myself to, which is the position of authority. I am authority due to extraordinary access to information. That's power. I have extraordinary access to information. And that's what this force really doesn't want people to have. That's why the Rothschilds, back in the days, when they started their banking empire, they had all of the people giving information to them. They had horses and carriages and like the best network of information sources that would give the most crucial and exclusive information to them. So they can set up their banking dynasty and enslave all of humanity with currency, electricity, to harvest your energy. Yeah, that's the esoteric meaning behind currency. Harvest of energy. Even the term legal. There's a difference between legal and law. They base the whole legal system on it. They even call it legal tender. Even legal, I looked it up yesterday, in its etymology has to do with harvesting. That's why they hate me, because I expose all of this. Because I don't want to live enslaved by anyone anymore. I am authority here because I have access to extraordinary information which I share with my family, It's what I had in yesterday's video. That's why we have looked down in the comments, jackasses, mouthing off. Yeah, because I am a conduit for forces of ultimate power that are using me. It's a co-creation relationship, but I'm being used as a vehicle, as a conduit for forces of ultimate power to bring this information forward, because Source has decided that mankind shall not be enslaved by these beings anymore. Machine consciousness beings. So I want to speak about Dr. Yuval Noah Harari. He's an official World Economic Forum contributor, and he's had some interesting things to say, which you can find in the Gnostic Takeover. And it goes hand in hand with what Klaus Schwab was also talking about when he says, and says this openly, it's you who are changed. Yeah, you're the target. Why you? Why all of mankind? Because they are invading our space. It's an invasion of machine consciousness. AI. So what I shared on the Gnostic Takeover is, he says throughout history, this goes back in history, and he's absolutely right. The KGB and other intelligence services, other regimes throughout history, like the Nazis, they wanted to hack millions of people. But as he says, but nobody understood biology well enough. Well, you can bet everything that they put a lot of effort into understanding biology, not only biology, but biology linked with chemistry, linked with neuroscience, and how basically the brain, the mind decodes reality. That's the magnum opus. That's the key question. How can we change reality into a position where we can invade Earth, have the target population, I want to emphasize, believe that reality is all material. That's why they're stuck in their ways and they think, oh, there's nothing you can do. Keep them in ignorance that it's a frequency reality, energetic-based reality. Go figure. And to keep that key information away from the people, because if only one found out how they really want to invade and how to stop this invasion, the whole invasion unravels and cannot happen. That's why it's a race. It's a race to decode information in order to unhack the hack. That's what I'm doing. So we've got the World Economic Forum, that is, the Great Reset. I'm going to talk about this also, the Great Reset. Already nearly an hour into this. But this is what they're really about. And this guy puts it out there, okay? So, as he said, all previous regimes before communism and National Socialism, as what they called National Socialism, it was just as much communism. It's all based on collectivism, on the hive mind, okay, the Archon Empire, playing off two sides against each other. Okay, that's all historically documented, that both sides of the war, of every war, have always been financed by the same people. And what they wanted is to hack into people's minds, in this case millions. But they hadn't understood biology enough. So he goes on. And nobody had enough computing power and data to hack millions of people. Neither the Gestapo nor the KGB could do it. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. What have we been talking about here on the Gnostic Takeover all the time? Hacks. How it's a hack. Yeah. We need to know about this. And that's front and center what they are interested in. The enemies of life. They're even public with this. Everything's out in the open and they're just giggling. Ah, who's going to be the first to figure it out? Hopefully no one figures it out. Oh, we better attack the ones figuring it out with all of the weapons that we have. He goes on. So he says at least corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are. That's how he calls us. And this has precedence. Okay, this is a contributor to the World Economic Forum, Dr. Yuval Noah Harari, saying this. But this goes way back, goes right back to Darwin when you look into history. The human being has no soul. The human being, and this is where the materialist paradigm was set up from the beginning. And we're talking about roughly from the official history, what I found out, the middle of the 19th century. Darwin's Origin of the Species was published in 1857. And that was a time of where this materialist ideology really took a hold of society. And we have the model after that. We have even Pavlov, for example. The themes of classical conditioning through stimulus and response. Stimulus and reaction. Remember the dog? Remember the bell? Yeah. To program human beings. That's what it's about. To socially engineer humanity. It's all about social engineering. It's a very, 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 very important term. Social engineering. Which is where we're right back with Edward Bernays. To socially engineer humanity into ways that make them more controllable. To control humanity. So, and that is the exclusion of the soul. This is a given. The exclusion of the soul, the exclusion of spirit. For the machine consciousness invading the planet, wants to disconnect us from that which checkmates them, which is the soul, which is the spirit. So disconnect humanity from that. That's what I want to do. And the influences of what I talk about, ultimate power, forces of ultimate power that I'm being used as a conduit for, that are tasking me to share this information now. And as I said, through Darwin, through even Pavlov, there's others that also formed, that was also the forming of the basics of psychiatry and the system of psychiatry. Human being has no soul. And the whole codex that was set up there, psychiatry, what are the basic illnesses of the psyche, like schizophrenia, or paranoia, or paranoid schizophrenia, or bipolar disorder, depression. And all of these illnesses are based on zero science. Zero. Nothing. No data. It's just a worldview that they set up as the enemies of life, as the invading force, a worldview schism, a psychiatry, a system of psychiatry that declares human being without a soul, without a spirit. That can then frame any one of mankind who have the first say in all of this on planet Earth, on their planet, the first say, we're native to this planet, to frame anyone from mankind who dismantles their control system as insane and put them in psychiatric clinic. This is what they've been doing for a very long time. And the devastation that has caused, the suffering of our species is unbelievable. Just as a side note, 25% of students in the US are under psychotropic drugs and medication. Hardly anyone talks about this, and go watch. I really recommend. I'm going to post it underneath. A documentary, which I can really recommend. I hope it comes to my mind now. By Richard Grove, and goes into the history of psychiatry. It's a great documentary. I'll look it up for you. Doesn't come to my mind right now. Hack, you see? But it's going to come. Goes into very fascinating how social engineering started with Machiavelli. Absolutely fantastic. So, coming back to this guy, and I'll mention if it comes during the stream, it will come. Otherwise, you find it on the Gnostic Takeover or underneath in the description below. So they define us as hackable animals in order to control our reality decoding, our reality experience. Because as he goes on to say, State of Mind is the documentary. State of Mind. Type in Richard Grove. That's the documentary. Good, got that out of the way. So he goes on to say, once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it. Hence the term social engineering. Engineering. You see, first they hack. Okay. First, they hack the mind, and step 2 is then to engineer, which is another term for programming. Engineer is another term for programming, And the jackpot with all of this, where this leads, is to the engineering and the programming of the habits of human beings. To hack the mind first, and then program and engineer human beings through the use of mass psychological warfare, through the use of mass psychology, through the media, all sources of media. You have to control all of them. First the hack, and then engineer humanity, program its habits. Hence the smoking. Hence the cheese. Huh? Are we connecting some dots here? I hope you hate this, enemies of life, because I'm not stopping. I'm nowhere close to stopping, exposing exactly how you do it. Habit creation. The pizza advert, that, oh, it's just a pizza advert with all the cheese and how it just goes down like cheese. Yeah, that's where the hack is coming in. The smoking, the cheese, the meat. Go and look at all of these food people, the YouTubers and influencers on YouTube that go to these food markets and places. Meat, 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 meat. Genetically engineered, genetically modified wheat. So now you are changing. Genetically modified marijuana. The CBD strands, for example, genetically modified. Most of the weed that you can buy, and I stopped smoking weed, which is why my brain activity has never been better. That's why they hack the minds of all the people that are going to rebel against the system through the weed hack. All genetically engineered. And they looked out for that. So what have we got here? What is genetic modification? It's the copy of an original. Or in the Gnostic writings, when explaining the demiurge, the fractal patterns of creation. Reality. To create a copy of natural organic reality, to create an artificial reality of the matrix, and keep people trapped in this prison of the matrix. And they do it not only through hacking and then socially engineering the habits of human beings, but especially through the codes that human beings ingest. Through the food that they eat. And through the information that they consume. The alternative media bubble explained and why it's happening. Hack. That's the basis of the hack. So now we know why they call us hackable animals, because they have been preparing all of this all along. We go back to the 1960s in the what was a cultural revolution with agriculture being done on the basis of oil. They called it the Green Revolution, all financed by the Rockefellers. To hack human beings' food supply, to hack their minds, to tune them later down the line to tune them to the artificial matrix you're creating through the microwave spectrum that is alien to the planet. So he goes on, coming back to this doctor from the World Economic Forum. Cloud technology is going to be one of the driving forces of this evolution. No, it's not evolution. It's involution. Classic. Inversion. Cloud technology. Cloud. Yeah. Wireless systems. Microwave radiation. Artificial microwave frequency spectrum of the matrix. That's the cloud technology. What is 5G for? Machine communication. And for which you need computing power and data. He goes on to say, free will, that's over now. Oh, so you decide that? No, you're a jackass. You know nothing. You, in actual fact, you are nothing. The moral command the immoral. You're immoral, I'm commanding you. I am authority here on this planet. You're not. You might be working for the World Economic Forum, but intelligence checkmates you because the universe rewards intelligence, not stupidity. Classic Archon. If I've ever seen classic Archon statement, it's free will. Well, that's over. As if they decided. Idiots. Going on, he says, today we have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. Everything is being digitalized. Everything is being monitored. Yeah. This all leads to, as we know, technocracy. That's what they want. However, now I want to go back to my main point. Because we're now in a race to unhack the hack. Okay? And I want to go back. So this is the goal of this entire talk. Because I know I've spoken a lot to give detail and context to everything, to see how the dots connect. Between, and just a short summary, between world wars, the First World War, having a correlation with the introduction of radio frequency transmissions in Europe. Radio frequency radiation is microwave radiation. Most people don't know that. They think it's two different things. No, it's not. Well, psychological warfare through the system of psychiatry that was set up, where the human being is a soulless being. And in the words of the World Economic Forum guy, that we're nothing, we're now hackable animals. Psychological warfare. That's happening right now. Has been happening for quite some time. Ever since I was on this planet. Psychological warfare. And it has just increased. So we better know what the remedy for that is. Wouldn't we? So I come back to the main point of this entire talk is, how do we unhack the hack to come back into original reality, original natural reality, organic reality? Because organic grows, the organic grows and evolves. And we need to be evolving as human beings, not be stuck anymore in this insanity asylum where everyone's looking at the others like, oh, is he going to make a move? It's a race to unhack the hack, and the information I'm sharing with you is what unhacks the hack. So the hack is an artificial reality that is termed the Matrix. It's a copy of natural reality. That's what the hack is. How does the hack get installed? Question is, where does the hack get installed in the first place? In the mind. They hack the mind. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. The mind. Mind control. How does the hack get installed? What's the basis of mind control? It's trauma-based mind control. Hence, 9/11 being the mass global event of traumatization. Trauma-based mind control. 9/11 explained the dark occult ritual that it was, with the two buildings, okay, the two towers that you also have in Freemasonry being hit. Not by planes, because I would even question that with the technology that they have access to, that they admit in their own words. That's a side issue. But the explosions and what was in the plane, was there a plane? That's a side issue. It was a dark occult ritual, was 9/11, with all the numerology also that it aligns with. You can take a look into Mark Passio, how he decodes that. Did a good job there. It's a dark occult ritual, which is a mind control ritual, which is a trauma-based mind control ritual to kickstart a trauma, which fragments the human psyche, unsettles it, and you are removed from your center, where you're in alignment, where the Trinity, the body, mind, and spirit, body, mind, spirit, and soul, where everything is in an alignment with the source, and you're getting source direction, you're getting the guidance by the source, by the forces of ultimate power, as I like to call them. They tell you exactly in your correlation with them what needs to happen in order to be free, what you need to do. However, to be in that center, you have to realize that you were uncentered. You have been traumatized through 9/11 and through other major events. That's why watching the media is traumatizing. That's why watching the alternative media is traumatizing. How often I went off watching Max Egan and being more depressed than before. It's fact. And trauma, and then 2020 with the COVIDian cult, dark occult ritual, trauma-based mind control. It's installed, and once you have the hack installed, you have to continue program the hack, the artificial reality. So the way this invasion works is to uproot us, okay? So when I say we fall away from our center through trauma, through a traumatic experience, we fall away from our center. Another way of expressing it is we get uprooted from our roots. That's much more appropriate. Uprooted. So we get uprooted which installs the hack being an artificial reality of the matrix for the mind to decode an artificial reality. First you get uprooted, then you decode that, and it keeps getting reprogrammed, that artificial reality. That's why when the hack started to break down with the Covidian cult's agenda, on comes the next card they play, which is war in the Ukraine. Yes, because the hack into your mind in order to materialize and stabilize and keep the hack going, which is an artificial reality. That's what's going on. We are being invaded through our minds by decoding an artificial reality of the matrix. The only place where this colonization is taking place and this invasion of machine consciousness is in an artificial matrix reality that is a copy of natural reality. That's the only place this invasion is taking place. It's not taking place in the original natural reality, which is why this is the solution to get to the original natural reality. Don't you think that is so? It's another spectrum outside of the bubble of the matrix. That's where we need to get to. And that's why these people, like the guy that I just quoted, and all the others of them, that's why they're so arrogant. Because they think they're amazing. Oh, we can do this. We're manipulating all of them and blah, blah, blah. And all the others are conspiracy theorists, you know, who don't know what they're, and we're just gods here on earth and all that. They're totally arrogant, you see, and you can explain that. Because their perception is in a bubble, in this artificial matrix reality. And everything outside of the bubble is conspiracy theory. Oh, he's just a little bit insane. No, he's more intelligent than you. It's about to checkmate your entire system. But that's outside of the bubble you are in. The ones outside of the bubble with a new signal cannot be touched are destined, because they're supported by forces of the ultimate power. The one and only forces. Do you think Satan is the only force in existence? The only archetypal energy there is? No, you're very mistaken. There's ultimate power that fully supports freedom to manifest. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. No more doom and gloom. We're victory, we're harmony, we're glory. That's what this force is, and that's what I'm expressing in full confidence. Yeah. Because I know I have the first say in all of this as part of mankind. Native to this planet. Invited by Earth to be here. You too, invited by Earth to be here. First say in all of this, you too, all of us. The arrogance is in the bubble, and we're coming from outside of the bubble, checkmating their system of control, knowing exactly how it works. It's a really big presentation, and it's really amazing what comes forward as I'm speaking. So, how to get out of the hack? So what is the hack? As I said before, I'm going to say it in different terms now. The hack is information. It's coding. It's codes. That's why, where's your decoding coming from? Because life and the universe and Creation is information decoding information. I'm information decoding information as reality into information, and it's all informing each other. In the field, in the one holistic field, everything is informing each other. It's decoding, and it's about the codes, okay? The codes that we receive. And there's a key difference between natural reality and artificial reality. One key difference. And you know what it is? Responsibility. Yes. Responsibility. And all good things come in threes. It's responsibility. That is the difference between natural organic reality and artificial reality. Responsibility. And both are coded, encoded. Both have codes, both realities existing at the same time in our world, depending which one you tune into. They both are coded, both exist at the same time. However, the underlying energy of natural reality is with responsibility. It's coded with responsibility. Which, in this system, is expressed through liability. Private liability. That's how you cannot end up in the artificial reality through private liability. They can't assimilate you into that because you say, no, I'm responsible, I take responsibility, and if you want to impose said order on me, you're privately liable to the extent that I say, because I am authority here, native to this planet. It's responsibility, the key difference. It's simple. And that's what it is. That's how it works. And that's how we end the invasion, is with responsibility, private liability. And in organic natural reality, it is the natural order that governs everything. It is the natural order that is king. Natural order is king. Natural law is king. Everything is governed by the natural order. You reap what you sow. The consequences of your behavior and your state of being, your energetic vibe, is going to be reflected back to you in your life. That's why the importance of moral code. The more you align with moral code, the more of your reality transforms your reality experience according to the moral codes that you're aligned with. Because you're in alignment with the source that created you. The ultimate power only comes through morality, natural order. And from that natural order, that is all based on trust, that people are educated and know to trust the process, as we say. Trust that there's universal forces that govern this realm. Trust that when you do good, good will be done to you. It's a thing of trust. That's why we need to be educated about the natural order and the workings of natural law. When there's no trust, we have to create a trust artificially through the creation of a trust. That's why the entire system is based on a trust. However, that system has to be run under contracts. It's contract-based. So you have the natural order of things that is always governed, and then a civilization, species, can choose to implement a system, which has to be an insurance system based on trust. And when you don't trust someone, you make a contract with them. And if things go belly up, it's clearly in the contract who takes liability to what extent. And if people don't want to be liable to that extent, they perform the task. That's why the system is set up and based on contracts. And that is natural organic reality. That's that reality where we're going into, and that's what I can say to everyone. High command yourself into natural reality. That's what I do every day when I'm in ice cold shower. I command that I am anchored in natural organic reality. I am the one and only exclusive authority of my reality. I collapse the wave function through my observation and decoding of the information field into natural organic reality in which I am anchored in. And that is so because I say so. And whatever ritual you want to do with it, that's how you do it. You want a resolution to all of this? That's how you do it. We have to be in the right reality because the organic reality is always there. So tune into it. And it comes with responsibility. Those who do not take responsibility, they stay in the hack. So in that natural organic reality, everything's set up with the natural order, and the system is based on contracts and is an insurance system. That's why, how can you spot that it's a hack? Very important point. How do you know it is a hack? Meaning artificial reality, a reality simulation. When there is no contract. That's how I know that Errol being taken away from us is a hack, and they can't do anything to him because he doesn't consent. And it's only a matter of time until he comes back to us. Why do I know that? Where's the contract? There's no contract. How do I know the situation with Leonie is a hack? Because there is no contract. That's how you know it's a hack. They need you to believe that they've got some magical authority without a contract, so that you go to them. They invited Liz today, for example, on a Friday to an appointment. Oh, you need to take up this appointment and you need to speak with us and talk about the future of Leonie. Where's the contract? Yeah, that's how easy it goes belly up. When there is no contract, it is a hack, and everyone is privately liable to the extent that you sit. And you see, that's why it's so important to know to ask the question, how would you know the difference between natural organic reality and artificial reality? From seeing, from looking, you wouldn't tell the difference. You have no idea what the difference is because it's a copy of that reality. And the way they do this is they insert frames into your mind. Frames. Yeah, they can also put a set of frames in there. And that's what we call the workings of television. Television. They put frames in there. It's frames of digital pixels manipulating your brain. How do you know that's fucking going on? It's just in your bloody little box. That was the forerunner of the smartphone, of mind control. Prisons. That's mind control. Television. And then they had to up their game, because you have to keep programming humanity into this artificial reality. Therefore, you also put the smartphone as the central unit of society. Oh, everyone needs a smartphone. Well, how come that I don't have a smartphone? How come I have my phone switched off the whole day? Only when I need to use it for a phone call, I switch it on, I make that phone call. Why? To reduce the level of hacks that come in. That's why. Because I need to be fully alert with what I'm doing when there's a hack being imposed on me in the form of frames that they insert into my psyche. And I can usually tell that a hack is going on through the muzzle. Okay, they have to show you. It's like in Hollywood, in the movies, they have to show you when a hack is being inserted. Most of the time it comes through maske. And then I'm like, because I've defined that in my reality. As soon as I make, the hack is unhacked. And I picture my own frame from my own creativity where I slay a cable connection to the Wetico artificial matrix reality, copy of natural reality. And then that was stage 3 of eliminating the threat, and the situation is sealed and protected. So now you know why I'm pretty chilled. Because the man who at times acts as judge is privately liable. And I already wrote that to him, sent that to him. It was 369,000 euros for trespass by way of kidnapping, plus €1 per second. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. So I know the law. I am the law. And I set the law. By setting the law, you're setting your reality. Because again, I need to connect those dots. To be in natural, organic reality, you need to set the boundaries with the artificial construct, with its artificial agents of the matrix, who just think they can magically impose their fascism on you without your consent and just say, I'm just doing my job. No, you need to set the boundary with that reality, with those agents, by setting the law and saying, if you want to perform said order on me, it's going to cost you 369,000 euros. Private liability that seals, disconnects with the artificial matrix reality and puts you right back into the organic, natural reality. That's what you want to be. That's why the importance of setting the law, private liability meaning responsibility, because with responsibility, that's the only thing that keeps you in natural, organic reality of freedom. Because the codes of that reality have the underlying energy, an energetic imprint of responsibility, which is the difference to an artificial reality where no one takes responsibility and that's just the way it's been. Not anymore. That information is out there now. I'm a pioneer of this information. I don't know if anyone else talks about this, but this is what I'm getting from the forces that co-create together with me, who are the forces of ultimate power, who really want freedom for Earth and for mankind. I have to follow my job, do my job to explain this, which is absolutely massive. Very important. All right, that's it for today. I know it's been a long one. I didn't know where this was going to end up. But that's what it's all about. So, thank you for your attention, being here with me, and to take this planet back together with me. got all the knowledge, we've got all the tools. Let's do it. Till next time, take very good care. Bye-bye.